So right now we have the third quarter moon in Gemini, headed towards that full moon in Leo on the 25th. Going from air to fire energy, right? Going from that very thinking, very pensive energy to that very like motivated, inspired energy. So let's see how that is going to affect you. What you can expect during this time. Also, we just entered Aquarius season, so if any of y'all are Aquarians, happy birthday. Yeah, let's get on with it. Well, let's start by saying who you are, what your energy is currently. We have alchemy and the philosopher's stone. This is all about infinity, destiny, and magic, right? And this is really like tapping into yourself, transmuting your own energies. When I see this card, I often think of somebody embodying the philosopher's stone, right? The philosopher's stone is an external thing to work on, yes. However, everything that an alchemist puts the philosopher's stone through is everything that the philosopher or the alchemist puts themselves through. So if you have to put the stone through fire, then you yourself are going to go through the fire. However that looks for you. So I'm going to use my Nefertari deck and kind of dive into this. As we all know, alchemy originated in Africa, so primarily Egypt, right? So I feel that there's a lot that could be understood about your past in this deck. I guess I should say Egypt and Greece are kind of like neck and neck with the alchemy thing. But anyway, let's see it. We have the Ace of Swords. Right now, this is the energy of truth, right? And of taking action. It's the energy of a new direction, following your personal truth, really listening to your internal compass. What you're taking action on. Interesting, because it's like the thing that inspires this action taking. It stems from this Three of Swords, which is heartbreak, disappointment, feeling, like in your feels. And then that's followed up by the Tower, right? The Tower is everything kind of falling apart and having to, like having these energies next to each other really demonstrates a lot of tribulation, right? Like taking this action in this new direction is because like life as it was disappointing, was falling apart. I'm seeing a lot of heartbreak. I'm seeing that things just were not how you wanted them, right? Also, with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, I feel that there could have been financial difficulties at some point, or that's simply just the energy of feeling lack, right? Like feeling like something's missing or having to let something go. It's that energy that something's lacking, right? The Queen of Pentacles always has this feeling of abundance. So when it's in reverse, I feel the opposite energy, right? That energy of lack. So to me, that's the energy of having to let something go and feeling like something's just missing from your life. With the heartbreak, the Tower, and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, it's like, I feel like this last year for you has been quite challenging. And then what's interesting is the next card, because then we have the Two of Cups. And this is union, right? This is like a partnership. It's primarily romantic, right? So I kind of want to see like what its relevance is. It is in the upright. All the other cards indicate perhaps this is like a healing connection after like experiencing loss or disappointment, experiencing what felt like bad luck, right? I don't believe in bad luck though, so, but that's what it felt like, right? So let's clarify this Two of Cups. Could be rebound energy as well. Yeah, with the Nine of Wands, this is like the wounded warrior energy. And then the Fool card, right? This is Uranus energy, Aries, Aquarius energy. So it almost feels like a rebound situation, you know, or like, because it's so impulsive, right? You go from this Nine of Wands feeling wounded, feeling like, you know, you just experienced loss, disappointment, things were just fucked, right? Third of Swords tells me you were heartbroken. And then with the Fool card, it just tells me that this was a very impulsive decision to get into this Two of Cups. Whether you've done it yet or not, I'm not sure. But it feels like there was a rebound situation where it was just very impulsive and you were just kind of like, hey, you wanted to start something new. I'm seeing 0, 1, 2, 3. It's like you wanted to start something new here. And perhaps you didn't like give yourself time to heal from the disappointments in the past, or perhaps you're hoping that this energy would heal that, right? So let's see. What is the outcome of this Two of Cups? I'm seeing Three of Cups, right? This is celebrating, drinking, happiness, joy, bringing your friends together, your community together. With the Six of Cups in reverse, this is a new energy. This is not somebody from your past, right? Or if you've known them in the past, this is not somebody you've been with in the past, if that makes sense. It does look like this is a new kind of connection. With the World card, I do see that this is like you're closing out a past cycle of feeling hurt and defeated and feeling like things just weren't working out, to this Wheel of Fortune where you're feeling quite fortunate and like things are working out. So even if it is about a bit of a rebound, right? Even if it is a bit impulsive, it does look like it's a positive connection. Right, it looks like it's here to bring about some like joy and healing. It does look like, yeah, it's really helping to turn around your energy. Regardless of if this is a permanent connection or not, it's like this connection does have a healing nature to it. And I feel that it's an important connection because of that. Because it's really helping to like help you move forward and close out the past and not focus and dwell on the past, you know. And like you're able to really feel in tuned We have the Death card, Scorpio energy. Like I said, with that tower, something is completing here. I'm seeing a lot of completion energy and a lot of beginning energy. So it's definitely like you're coming out of one cycle and into another one. You're coming out of this feeling of defeat into a feeling of rebirth. With the Judgment in reverse, I want to clarify what the Judgment is in reverse. Perhaps you didn't think something all the way through. Perhaps you were acting on emotions. We have the Justice and Judgment in reverse. Very Libra energy, but also if you're dealing with a court case, you may feel like you're facing some kind of injustice in that. With the Two of Swords, I feel that very defensive energy about this situation. Could be going through a divorce too. And like I said, there's the energy of something ending and something beginning. So if if you like preemptively or impulsively got into a connection before like finalizing a divorce, I feel that could cause more problems in the courtroom, if that makes sense. Like almost like somebody's gonna use it as ammunition on some level. And if you're not dealing with court, then I'm seeing something very unfair here. And something that like perhaps somebody had poor judgment in a situation that led to something that was unfair. I want more clarity on this though. With that defensive energy, it's like, I don't know, feels like just something ain't right. There is reassurance though with the Hanged Man in reverse, that the obstacles that were standing in the way of you pushing forward or moving forward are being removed. With the Five of Wands, I'm seeing competition, conflict, right? Chaos. I do feel heavy divorce energy. I'm just gonna be straight up. And it feels like somebody like could have had an affair or just like moved on before like the divorce was final, but I'm seeing that it's only like fueling the fire. It's only, this rebound situation is only like making matters kind of worse. And I do see with the Hanged Man in reverse, like if there is a divorce situation, which I think I'm just going to title that this because that's really what I'm feeling and really what's coming through. And it's almost like, yeah, this is challenging, yeah, there's conflict, but it's removing the thing that was holding you up from like progressing, right? So it's like, yeah, it's like a necessary kind of struggle. Like, at this point, like, you can only push forward. You can only keep, your momentum. And we have the Star in reverse, Aquarius energy. there was just no hope for this situation to get better, right? It's almost like there's so much conflict now, yeah, but it's like I feel that it's just a continuation of the conflict that you experienced while you were with this person. With the Three of Pentacles, sorry. I was looking at the Three of Cups when I said that. So the Three of Pentacles, we now have 333. We have Three of Swords, Three of Cups, and Three of Pentacles. And this is about transitions in the mind, body, and spirit. There is something like very transformative about this experience. Also, with the Three of Pentacles, you could be moving in with somebody new or get a new roommate or something of that, but it's almost like somebody is coming to like really help get you back on your feet after this situation. With the Nine of Swords in reverse, I feel that this helps relieve a lot of your anxieties and worries about like pushing forward, right? Like you don't feel like you're without help, if that makes sense. With the Knave of Cups in reverse, I feel that your heart just wasn't in the situation anymore. Like you just, there's no hope and there's no love, right? So I feel that ending this this marriage, this connection was very necessary. And honestly, like, I forget who it was. I think it was like Johnny Depp or Will Smith, one of those guys. But they said, I think it was Johnny Depp. He said, if you fall in love with two people, choose the second one. Because if you really love the first one, you couldn't have fallen in love with the second one, right? And that's really the energy I'm seeing here, is that, like, you're choosing the second person. Because it's like, I see that they, even though, like, it was impulsive, even though it was rather quick, I see a lot of celebration, a lot of happiness, a lot of understanding, It makes more sense to be in that connection, right? And it's kind of like, it made it to the point where walking away from this other situation was so necessary, right? And it's more than, I don't feel so much as it's like a typical rebound, right? They're just the first person or the last, perhaps, but they're the first person after this connection. So it's perceived as a rebound, but it's interesting because it looks like the situation that you're walking away from, though, you have not been emotionally invested in it in some time. So for you, it doesn't feel reboundy. It feels like you've been done with this, right? You've been over it. You're ready to push forward and see, kind of like what a real connection feels like. Something that isn't rooted in codependency and instability. We have Nine of Cups here. This is the energy of wish fulfillment. I'm seeing that things are like, even if there's like a little bit of a struggle, even if there's a little pushback, there may be setbacks, right? Obviously. These things don't always just happen easily. With the Nine of Cups, I'm just seeing that, like, when it's all said and done, you're going to be living in your wish fulfillment. And you just kind of got to get through the hard part to, like, get to that, Yeah, we have the Six of Swords, which tells me that you're definitely done with something. You're walking away from a situation that just feels unfair, that feels, that's left you feeling defensive with that Two of Swords, that's left you feeling hurt. Three of Swords. Also now you have 666 on the board. You have the Six of Cups in reverse with the Six of Swords, and now the Six of Wands. And Six of Wands is about being in the spotlight, right? This is about getting recognition. You could be a public figure, content creator, something of that sort. And I feel that even though like this personal life situation was a struggle to like push past, it's like you're really walking into a time of like standing in your power and being kind of in the spotlight here. We have the Five of Cups. This is, it's all about disappointment, heartbreak, right? It's kind of like you could be a little bit too focused on the challenging aspects of this, and you're really being called to like look at the bright side. The Five of Cups indicates too that something's just like your patience with the situation has run out, your emotions with the situation has run out. It just feels like an emotional dead end, and you're like, of course I have to walk away from this. It's the only logical decision at this point. With the moon in reverse, I feel that you may not discuss the emotional challenges that you feel during this time, or maybe, and that's also Piscean energy. A lot of cups could be dealing with the Pisces, but also with the Death card, we've got Scorpio energy. So big on the water energy here. With the moon in reverse, though, it's like, because the moon in the upright is something coming to light, something being revealed. And with it coming out with the Five of Cups, I feel like it has a lot to do with your emotional state and your feelings about this situation. And I feel that you're not revealing because the moon is in reverse. You know, I feel that you're not revealing your emotions, your disappointment, your sadness even about this. And it could be because you're in a new connection and you don't want to bring that energy to this connection of, you know, of that sadness. And it makes sense to me why you wouldn't want to. Also, it makes sense to me why you would feel that way. And that maybe there should be a safe person to discuss this with, you know, even if it's like a therapist. You know, you don't want to just repress your feelings. You're allowed to feel feelings. Feelings happen. You're meant to feel the entire spectrum of them, actually. It's quite spiritual. And I feel that you should honor your feelings by finding a safe way to let it out, to talk about it, to, you know, speak on matters. You don't necessarily have to tell your new partner what you're feeling, you know. I'm sure that would not benefit your new connection. It just looks like you need a healthy outlet. Because if you think about it in terms of a wound, right? Because it is an emotional wound. If, like, I were to gash my arm open and I just was like, you know what, I'm just going to throw a big-ass Band-Aid on it, it's fine. And I don't clean it, I don't readdress it, like, and I see blood starts pouring out over the sides and green shit, goop, pus, whatever is coming out over the sides, and I'm like, oh, nasty. And I just grab another bandage and I pop that over the top of it, and I don't even take the old bandage off. I just put that on. We're just gonna suppress this, right? We're just gonna hide it, and I'm gonna ignore it, because if I don't look at it, it's not real, right? That's kind of that I'm seeing here with this energy. And the thing is if you were to do that with an actual wound, right, it would fester, it would get infected, could potentially kill you. It would, be a whole fucking thing. And so the same as with our emotions and physical wounds, we gotta pop those bandages off, and we gotta look at it. We have to see how bad it is. We have to see how long it's been festering. We have to look at, like, okay, like, this is bad. We left this unaddressed. We've been repressing. We've been hiding it. We have not allowed it to see daylight, and it's bad. So what do you gotta do, right? First, you gotta soak it in some Himalayan salt with some, like, distilled water, whatever. You soak that shit, let it pull out all the toxins. Then you soak it in some witch hazel, you let that do its shit, pull, because that's antifungal, antibacterial shit. You let that do its job. You get your antibacterial salves, you put it on there. It may not be fun cleaning it. It might actually, like, suck. However, you're going to immediately start feeling the relief, right? You're immediately going to feel the pressure removed. Like, you're going to, like, it's going to stop aching. The swelling's going to go down. You clean it up real good. You put on a good salve. Then you put on a new bandage. And then the next day, even though you've already bandaged it up, you don't want to let it fester again, right? So the next day, you take the bandage off, you look at it, you address the situation, you nurture it, you take care of it, and you clean it, and you do that every single day until the wound has healed up into a scar. And yes, it will be a scar, okay? Emotional wounds scar you, too. It's not like it just goes away unmarked, right? There will be an emotional scar. You will be forever changed by your pain, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're still wounded, right? You're just scarred after that. And that wound, like, has had an opportunity to heal because you addressed it, because you nurtured yourself, because you were willing to take the time and energy to really sort it out. And the way that we do that on the inside is through doing mirror work, right? If somebody else triggers us in any way, this is how I do my mirror work. If somebody triggers me, like, say by being prejudiced, right? Because I've dealt with a lot of that in my life, and it sucks. So say somebody's, being super prejudiced, and I feel triggered by that. That means that there's something in me that I need to address, right? So I'm going to pull off the bandage, and I'm going to be like, why does this hurt me so much? Why am I so personally offended? I know that they're just coming from an ignorant place. They're not even, they're not even worthy of hurting my feelings, right? However, my feelings got hurt, and so I will sit there and I'll address it. I'll let myself feel the feelings. I'll let, and it's not fucking easy, okay? Especially for me. I'm an Aquarius. I don't do that. Not naturally, right? That's something I had to, like, learn to do. I had to learn to, like, take one day a week where I'm like, all right, let's address if there's something that needs to be worked on. And as soon as I notice it, I correct my behavior or my thought patterns, and then I'm like, okay, cool. It has been addressed. I have let myself feel it. I've meditated on it. I went through the things. And really, when you do that, you're not neglecting yourself emotionally, right? And so that kind of helps you to integrate your shadow, right? Because you're not neglecting your shadow. You're not neglecting the things that hurt, the things that suck, the things that you'd rather wish you'd never felt, right? You're not neglecting it. You're not shutting out your inner child that's like crying out to you, right? Instead, you're nurturing it. You're there for it. You're supporting it. You're like, all right, I know this sucks. It's like when you fall off a bike, instead of just being like, all right, be a cool guy, brush it off, like, you allow yourself to go sit in the bathroom and cry about it a little bit, clean it up. You're like, that sucked. All my friends saw it. That was embarrassing. Whatever. You let yourself have that. And when you let yourself have that, that's what ultimately heals the shit, right? So whenever I feel like I'm mad at somebody else, instead I put myself in their place, right? So if like somebody calls me a bitch, right, I'm like, I'm not mad at them for calling me a bitch. I'm mad at me for, well, on some level, right? Because if you're not a bitch, you're not going to be offended by that, right? If you are a bitch, you're probably going to be offended by that. And so on some level, it's like I'm recognizing that subconsciously I'm angry at myself because on some level I embody that, right? That's the mirror work, right? That's the going inside and seeing the things that bother me about others, the things that trigger me about others, or they expose something or they reflect something back to me that is unhealed or unworked on inside of me. So that's where that is. Sorry, I kind of went on a whole rant there. But you catch my drift though, right? Like, and I mean, there's so many good videos on mirror work and like shadow work and the whole thing. Maybe one of these days I'll do a rant where I specifically talk about that mirror work. And yeah, I do feel that you need to express your emotions in some way, and you need to let yourself feel them. Even if that means like you take a drive by yourself or a walk by yourself or whatever, you get the hell out of your comfort zone a little bit and you go and you just let yourself be alone. You let yourself sit with it. Go sit in nature. Go, do your thing. I feel like that's important. Right? Because even this new relationship, this new connection can be a bit of a band-aid too, right? But a band-aid without adding the other healing measures and, like without taking care of it consistently, the band-aid doesn't really serve that great of a purpose, right? So you still have to do the inner work, because the oxytocin, the norepinephrine, the dopamine, the serotonin, all that shit, it's only going to be blasting off in your brain for max 6 months, right? And then bam, then when the mating chemicals wear off in your brain and you're no longer on the love drug, then you're going to have clarity, right? Or and your situation can go one of two ways, right? That's typically the make it or break it mark, where people work together and they realize like, okay, yeah, the honeymoon phase, that explosion of chemicals in the brain had to subside at some time, right? It had to. But does that mean that you don't love and respect and cherish that person still? Or were you blinded by the love drugs, right? Those chemicals blasting off in your brain. Oh, hold on a second. My son is calling me. All right, so where was I? Yeah, the love drugs. As soon as you're off that I guess that initial stage where everything's new and exciting and fresh, You know, as soon as you get out of that and then they become like a serious part of your life, right? Like something that, like, you know, you can only feel all that for, you know, at that extreme level for so long, you know. Otherwise it would be overwhelming. So, and that doesn't mean that the passion necessarily has to die or that you have to, you know, it's like continue falling in love with your partner, obviously. But this is, you know, I feel like you're going to reach a point too in this connection where, you know, you're going to lose that chemical response. And then you're either going to develop love or you're going to split ways, right? It can go one of two ways for you here. And I feel that love develops after that initial burst of the love drop, right? Because when it's just a chemical reaction to somebody, you know, and it's, you know, you don't really know them, you know what your mind has made up about them. And you have to learn to, like, experience the reality of them and see if, like, okay, is the reality of them something that I actually can do for the long term, you know? When all the crazy, you know, love brain drugs, you know, like start dissipating, right? And then you just go back to life. That doesn't mean, you know, that's where real love is established. That's where you actively make a choice to love somebody, right? That's where you actively make a choice to continue pursuing them, to continue wooing them, to continue keeping the spice, you know, keeping the passion alive, making it work. Because it's not always going to be easy. Miles Carter did this poem, and it's called If You Decide to Love Somebody. And I love that poem. It's, you know, he's like, there will be days where you don't like her, but you'll love her, you know, and you'll work through those things. And, you know, he says it way more poetic than I do, so you should just go watch that. But, yeah, it's... And I feel like you're going to break your own cycle with this new connection, because, you know, the one that you're coming out of, right, the either divorce or long-term commitment that you are separating yourself from, I feel that was part of your cycles, your personal cycles, right? Where as soon as the love chemicals kind of depleted, it's like rather than choosing to love each other, y'all started fighting more. You started becoming more emotionally distant. You started, you know, just growing apart in different ways and not really feeling like you see eye to eye or feeling like you really know each other at all. And I feel that this new connection is going to be more healing because you're going to be able to work through this without the hostility coming into play, you know? There we got 5 of Swords. You have 5, 5, 5. Show you more clearly. 5 of Swords, and so you have the 5 of Wands, 5 of Cups, and now 5 of Swords. And this is kind of that energy of taking your power back from a person or a situation. This is no longer letting them have the ammunition to continue the bullshit, right? So I feel like a lot of the energy here is really just moving past the past, you know? And this new connection is a great distraction from your feelings on that matter, but your feelings on that matter are as valid. If, if not more so, because they're the feelings that you're trying to not feel, right? And usually those are the ones that we need to be feeling, right? With the Six of Pentacles in reverse, I feel that you're going to have a newfound independence, right? Now you have 6666. You have all the sixes in the deck on the board. Six of Pentacles in reverse indicates that the codependency is over, right? Both of y'all, like, you walking away from that past relationship is really helping you to gain your independence, your freedom, your liberation. And honestly, jumping into a new connection can sometimes not allow you to explore your freedom as a single person in a way that I feel is healing, that I feel is good. However, my way is not everyone's way, right? It looks like this connection is very healing for you, right? I feel a lot of happiness within this connection, whether it's a permanent connection or not. Right now it's a healing connection, and it's important. I feel that there's just this energy of mutual understanding, respect. There's a lot of caring, and there's not that codependency, which is nice, right? So you may be feeling a sense of liberation in this, and that's kind of dope. Osho once said, or was it Terrence McKenna? It was one of the boys. He was like, your love should feel like a vehicle of freedom, right? And that's exactly what I think of when I see this connection between you and this new person, because it feels like there is freedom in that. Like, you're doing exactly what you want by being with them, right? And that is freedom. And I feel that you just feel dope about it, right? And no matter what anybody says, if you feel really good about, the connection you're in, that's what matters, ultimately. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what anybody says or thinks. It doesn't matter, because you could have been over your past person for like 2 years before you guys even broke up. You could have already gone through most of the motions. And I say most of the motions because I do see that there's still some lingering pain under the surface here. There's still some lingering things that are unresolved, or but that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to interrupt this beautiful connection that you're either in or you're going to be in, Debbie Macaulay. No matter what you've done, no matter how many mistakes you've made, Kali is here for you always. Yours is the safety and sanctuary of her divine love. She is your soft place to fall, and your kindest and most enthusiastic advocate. Let her shift your experience from endless tasks and ever greater expectations into sweet relief and comforting connection. Kurakula. To receive your divine inheritance of blessings and support for sacred fulfillment, certain karmic conditions that resonate at a lower frequency need to be cleared. Kurakula signifies a time of rapid movement on your path and freedom to attract what you want and need. Let go of that which does not belong in your world. Release, and you shall receive. Gunatantrika. It takes strength of spirit not to override inner knowing with social pressures or an inhuman expectation for constant performance. Trust in the shifting cycles to give yourself what you need for well-being. No being benefits when you are at odds with yourself. You have the inner power and capacity to be at peace within your being now. that is what I have for you. Namaste. I love you guys, and I will see you later.